Tony Spirrett, I'm 63 years old and I've been an Amplifon customer since November 21.
Well, it's lovely to meet you, Tony. I've been really keen to meet some Amplifon customers, and particularly in your case to hear about how you got on with your hearing aid. So I believe you have described it as life-changing.
Yes.
But we'll get on to that. Let's start at the beginning. What was your hearing like before you came to Amplifon?
Decreasing rapidly at work, missing out on conversations and people pointing out to me that I needed to do something about it.
But that was a wee while ago, so what brought you to Amplifon?
I just knew I had to do something, as I said, about the conversations at work. My family were saying things and I just realised I needed to do something. And I think it was on social media, I forget which platform it was, I saw something and just at the right time and I just rang up and made an appointment.
Well, I've just had Amplifon's hearing test and I have to say I was really impressed at how thorough it was. How did you get on with the test?
Yeah, great. I mean, Helen, who did it, she explained everything to me, taught me through what it was, what they were going to do and everything like that. And yeah, it was good, it was quick, it was easy, nothing to be worried about, really.
But at the end of it, of course, she recommended hearing aids, presumably, because that's why you're here.
Yeah.
Now, you took advantage of the free trial of the Amplifon hearing aid. How did it feel when you first put those hearing aids in?
It was strange at first because the noise was so different to what I'd grown accustomed to. And just getting used to that took a little while, but just hearing things that I'd forgotten about. Just being able to more aware of the noises around me, you know, like traffic in the distance. You know, there's no cars on the road, whereas before I put them in, I wouldn't hear a car till it was close up, especially coming from behind. But now it's like I'm aware of it a long time before it's there, if you know what I mean. And then in the countryside, just the noises in the countryside.
Well, I was going to ask that because, of course, it's important to hear traffic. You don't necessarily want to be more aware of traffic.
No.
Are there any noises that you'd really missed that you suddenly realised?
Yeah, I mean, just like I said there, just being in the countryside, just birds, you know, things, because we live, where I live, it's sort of bordering on the countryside, and like even song and, you know, and on the morning birds when they're waking up and things like that, you become aware of it. You miss it, you don't realise it's not there. And then when it's back, it's like, yeah, I've missed that. Yeah.
So, of course, you had your week's free trial.
Yep.
And what happened at the end of that?
I came back and I think I wasn't going to give them back, let's just say that. Because in that short period, I realised what I'd been missing out on. And yeah, and it was, I was keeping them, you know, but whatever means I was going to keep them.
Now, Tony, I know you work in learning and development, designing training packages, so that must mean lots and lots of group stuff, meetings. How much difference has it made in those situations?
A lot, because I can hear the conversations that are going on, whereas before I used to have to be really concentrate, if you like, to hear what people are saying, especially with softly spoken people. And sometimes I used to ask them to repeat it, but now I'm just there in the moment with, you know, in the meeting, and it's great. I was down in Wales last week for a meeting, and one of the guys that I was meeting, he was very softly spoken, and before I'd have to sit really close to him, but now it was, I noticed that I was far apart and I could hear what he was saying, and that was like, yeah.
A revelation.
Yeah. It was just little things like that you don't realise, and when it does happen, it's like, you know, yeah, good.
So can you show us your hearing aids? Because I think
sure.
you've got the behind the ear ones, haven't you?
Yeah.
I mean, I have to say you're sitting there, you know, just socially distanced from me, but really pretty close, and I did not realise you were wearing them.
So that's it.
That's extraordinary. I mean, they are so different. I've been a GP for 31 years, and by golly, they're very different to the ones we had when I was a girl.
Yeah.
And have you got on using the app to control it?
The app's great. Yeah, because if you're in different settings, if you're in a pub, say for instance, and it's quite noisy, you can go into the app and change the setting, or you can even do it just by pressing the back of there's a button on there. But you know, you can turn it up and down, you can change, it's like a graphic equalizer on it, turn up the bass if you want, or the treble, and all things like that. And so after first getting them and starting to use them, I've got different ones for different settings. You can create your own settings as well on it. So depending on where it is, you just go into the app and change the profile, if you like, and it does change that. And
that sounds amazing,
yeah.
But how technologically adept do you have to be to do that?
You don't. It's really straightforward, really simple. I wouldn't say I'm a Luddite when it comes to technology, but younger people are far adept
Tell me about it.
than I am. But I found it really easy to use. Just go into it and just looking at it and playing about with it, just a little bit of common sense, and you can do it. And it's yeah, really good.
Now, Tony, I think that your hearing aids are also rechargeable, the batteries. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's just a box, quite a nice box as well, and you just take it out and slot them in. I just do it on an evening, on a night time, just slot them in, close the lid and charge overnight, and then on the morning put them back in.
Easy to do, no hassle?
Yeah, just it's constantly plugged in. It's on a USB, so you can even charge it on the go if you like. You could plug the USB into your laptop and charge it like that. So it's
because a lot of my patients do say that the batteries can be really, really fiddly, but you're just plugging the whole thing in.
Yeah, you just plug the whole unit in. There's no wires to connect into it. It just sits in a little groove inside the box, and the rest of it's for the rest of the hearing aid. And
now, when you were first talking, you talked first about having issues at work, but you did mention your family afterwards. That there must be lots of social settings where this makes a difference. What's really stood out to you?
One of the things is just when I'm at home on an evening with my wife, I have to tell her to turn the television down, whereas before, can you turn it up, please? Just little things like that.
I'm very impressed. I must take some tips on your wife on how you get control of the TV remote control.
It's easier.
Now, you're a husband, obviously, but you're also a father. You've
Yeah.
got lots of family. How have they reacted to this?
They didn't know at first. Nobody knew, because they didn't see him. They couldn't see him, and that. And it was, I think, my daughter just commented on. She said something to me one day. She said something one day, and I just commented on what she'd said, and she looked at me like, "You weren't supposed to hear that," because she said it quietly, knowing that I wouldn't be able to hear her, and she just looked at me like, "Whoa," and I just went like that.
So your own family hadn't spotted you were with them, and
Yeah.
even your own family didn't realise.
No.
That's how subtle they are.
Because I didn't tell them,
Yeah.
you know, and they didn't know.
Now, my patients always really, really worry that these things are going to be really obvious, that nobody's going to, look at them in the same way again. But you've not found any of that?
No. First time I went out with one of my friends, he after a while, we'd been out, sat talking for a while, and he just looked, and I went them, like that, and he says, I thought it was something from your glasses, because he could see it sticking out, but he thought it was the arm of my glasses. So yeah.
That's extraordinary.
Yeah.
Now, Amplifon pride themselves on their customer service. How
Yep.
would you say your customer service has been?
Excellent. No issues whatsoever.
What is it that's made their customer service so special?
I think they're just there. Everything about it, they ring you up before just to make sure that you're still going to be coming for your appointment. Just little things like that. It makes you feel wanted in a way, but those are the things that matter.
Well, you've said those are the things that matter. Of course, in order to get to that stage, you've got to recognise that you've got a problem and do something about it. What would you say to someone who thinks they may have a hearing problem but hasn't got around to doing anything about it yet?
Just do it. Just do it. There's no shame in it. I mean, people wear glasses without even thinking about it, and it's the same. I remember when I realised I needed wearing glasses. I was 17, 18. I was at a bus stop, squinting at the bus, and the bus went past, and as it went past, I realised it was my bus. I thought, I need to do something about it. And it's the same with hearing. Your hearing and your eyesight, they're both senses and they're both important. So yeah, if you think it's going, just do it.
Now, interestingly, we are all, I think, pretty much in the habit of going to the dentist regularly just for checkups, going to get our eyes checked. Do you think people should be getting their ears checked, so maybe even before they've recognised they've got a problem, we can do something about it?
Yes, without a doubt. It's just, I suppose it's just historically, it's always been your eyes. You go to the doctors for a checkup. You know, you go to an optician for an eye test, but earrings never sort of been part of that, or I can't recall it when I was growing up as being part of that network, for want of a better description, that you have to have it checked. But it makes sense. You know, it's common sense, and it's everybody should do it. It should be part of your life, really. You go and do it. You go every 2 years. You have an eye test. Have an hearing test every 2 years. Why not? As I say, they're both senses.
Well, coming from a man who has just taken advantage of getting something done and who has very clearly benefited, I think that's a great line to end on. Just do it. Tony, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.